The UnkleSam Narrative.
UnkleSam Narrative.
Okie dokie. Good afternoon, good morning, and good night, or whenever it is that you happen to be watching this. I am Sam, and real quick follow up after last week's video. I don't know if anybody decided to do any homework, but I did. And so, remember, we were talking about Paul's gospel, and so whenever you type in the phrase "my gospel," because Paul says "my gospel," and go to exact phrase. And I'm even going to limit it to, we'll just do the whole New Testament. Scroll down so that you can see all the results. So we've got Romans 2:16, which in the day when God shall judge the secrets of men by Jesus Christ according to my gospel. I showed you Romans 16:25 last week. Now, to him who is of the power to establish you according to my gospel and the preaching of Jesus Christ according to the revelation of the mystery, which was kept secret since the world began. And then here we have in 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 8. Remember that Jesus Christ of the seed of David was raised from the dead according to my gospel. Remember, it's Paul's gospel that talks about, let's go look at this. It's Paul's gospel, and it's in the books of Paul's letters that you find that we have salvation by grace through faith alone, and that he discusses that we trust in the death, the burial, and the resurrection of Jesus Christ for our salvation. Let's see. Okay, so in Romans 2, yeah, it's God's judgment and the law. It's talking about Gentiles who have not the law, but do by nature the things contained in the law. Let's see. God is. That's a rough one right there for Israel to swallow. For the name of God is blasphemed among the Gentiles through you, as it is written, for the circumcision verily profiteth. But if you keep the law, if thou keepeth the law, but if thou be a breaker of the law, that circumcision is made uncircumcision. Man, even though this is written about this specific thing, talking about the Jew and the Gentile, we as believers, we have a responsibility to live by faith, to live out a life that is worthy of being called an ambassador to Christ. Like it says right here. Now then, we are ambassadors for Christ, as though God did beseech you by us, who pray you in Christ's stead, ye be reconciled to God. For he hath made him to be a sin for us, who knew no sin, that we might be the righteousness of God in him. This is one of those verses that over the last couple of years, I've had things happen where it's just like, okay, Sam, that's not a very good ambassador. There you are, getting completely in your flesh and acting like a fool, being foolish, reacting from emotion instead of responding from a prayerful, loving attitude. And if we as believers can get into a mindset, a thought process that is not relying on old thoughts and old emotions, but instead under a new belief system where it's like, okay, I am going to, with love, through prayer, respond to these things instead of just reacting. When we get in reaction mode, we're gonna cause problems. That's just what it is. So whenever we're believing lies, our thoughts are incorrect, our emotions are darkened, and our actions are displeasing to others. So whenever we believe the truth, our thoughts are correct, our emotions are balanced, and our actions are going to be pleasing to others. So when we choose to believe that, okay, this is the kind of ambassador that I want to be, someone that does not make a shame of the name of Christ, I'm not trying to guilt trip you, because Lord knows I've made plenty of mistakes, and I've had to change my mind. I've had to be I've had to be repentant in the way that I've done things, because it's like, okay, that's not a good ambassador for Christ. That's not being a good father. That's not being a very good role model. All these things hit us. And when those things hit you, don't let it beat you up. Recognize it's like, okay, Christ died for my sins. He knew that I was going to act foolish from the jump. Like, before I was ever created, he knew my foolish actions, and more importantly, though, he knows the intention of your heart. So, take the time to say, okay, God, that's not what I want to be. All right, I want to do something different, and he can, and he will. He'll use you to be and to do something different. So, all right, guys, love you. Y'all have a fantastic weekend. Be safe, whatever it is. I'm out.
Uncle Sam Narrative. This is my story.
Check out the rest of our videos at UnkleSamPresents.com.
The Uncle Sam Narrative. One track mind, never leave the truth behind, no matter who it offends. I will not pretend, because this is my story, and I am sticking to it.
Copyright 2025 exclusive content. UnkleSamPresents.com. Email us at IamUncleSam@gmail.com. Spotify, YouTube, Apple, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Email us if you wish to be a sponsor.